Thought begins long before we notice it, long before a word forms, before an idea appears. There is a small electrical shimmer deep inside the brain, a spark softer than moonlight, quieter than breath. Tonight, you don't have to organize those thoughts, or chase them, or silence them. Just lie back, breathe slowly, and let your mind rest in the gentle clarity beneath all thinking. Maybe today, your thoughts were loud. Maybe they scattered, tangled, or pulled you in too many directions. But here, in this quiet moment, something beautiful is happening inside your neural world. Even as you breathe now, billions of neurons soften their rhythm, shifting from the fast chatter of the day into a slower, steadier pulse. Not noise, but harmony. Not effort, but release. Your brain is never truly chaotic. Even when thoughts feel messy, there is a hidden order beneath them. Gentle patterns of electrical waves rising and falling like the distant tide. Scientists call this neural coherence, the subtle alignment of brain activity that appears when the mind feels safe. And right now, with your breath slowing and your shoulders relaxing, the brain begins to settle into that quiet clarity. You don't have to stop thinking. Just breathe softly. Let your thoughts drift the way leaves drift on a quiet river, moving, floating, but no longer demanding anything from you. The moment your breath deepens, your brain shifts from beta waves into calmer alpha rhythms. These waves are the frequency of creativity, of gentle focus, of the peaceful clarity that arrives when the mind finally lets go. Inside you, tiny sparks of electricity leap from neuron to neuron, a kind of lightning made of thought. But the storm is fading now. Each spark slows, glows, and organizes into patterns as calm as moonlit water. As you inhale, your mind expands slightly, receiving space. As you exhale, it releases the weight of unfinished ideas. Thought becomes movement, then softens into peace. There is something miraculous happening in this quiet. Your brain's glial cells, the silent caretakers of your mind, begin clearing away the small fragments of the day, rearranging, cleaning, preparing you for clarity. They remove the noise, leaving behind only what matters. This is neural healing, the brain's gentle act of renewal that happens effortlessly when you stop forcing yourself to think. Breathe slowly. Let your mind feel spacious. Behind every thought, there is an even deeper silence, a softness where your truest clarity rests. You don't have to reach for it. It's already here, opening gently like a window in the dark, letting cool night air drift in. Tonight, thought is no longer pressure. It is light, soft, slow, and warm, moving through you like a quiet constellation. Let yourself drift with it. Let your mind remember that clarity is not something you create. It is something that rises naturally when you finally allow yourself to rest. If you listen closely, you can feel it. Your thoughts are no longer scattered. They are settling, aligning, glowing, healing themselves into calm. Deep inside your mind, thoughts often rise like weather, clouds forming, drifting, dissolving. All day long, your brain has been generating thousands of tiny currents, patterns, impulses, stories, memories, and worries. But tonight, you don't have to hold them. You don't have to sort through them. You only need to breathe softly and let the neural storms fade into gentle skies. Right now, something beautiful is happening beneath your awareness. As your breath slows, your entire nervous system begins to shift. The sympathetic system, the part that keeps you alert and ready, slowly releases its grip. And the parasympathetic system, the system of calm, digestion, repair, and inner peace, rises gently like a tide returning home. With each exhale, the tide comes closer, softening the edges of your thoughts. Your brain waves, once sharp from stress or stimulation, begin to stretch and elongate. Beta becomes alpha. Alpha drifts toward theta. These slower rhythms act like soft hands smoothing the folds of your mind, quieting the sparks that once jumped too quickly, too loudly. The storm inside becomes a breeze. The breeze becomes silence. Imagine your mind as a sky at dusk. The last winds of daylight are settling. The colors are blending, and the darkness comes not as fear, but as rest. Your thoughts float like small clouds, still there, still shifting, but no longer threatening to overwhelm the horizon. They drift without urgency, without demand, without weight. Even now, your neurons are communicating differently. Instead of firing in frantic bursts, they begin to synchronize, like fireflies blinking in gentle unison, like distant stars pulsing in cosmic rhythm. This harmony is not forced. It emerges naturally when the mind feels safe, when the breath is soft, when the heart is steady. And as the storm quiets, your brain begins its nightly ritual of clarity. Tiny channels in your neural networks, pathways built from experience, widen and relax. Neurotransmitters settle into balance. Serotonin creates calm. GABA dims neural noise. And your brain's natural rhythm realigns itself into a slower, kinder tempo. If you pay attention, you might feel it, the loosening. That gentle, almost imperceptible shift when your thoughts no longer feel like commands, but like drifting shapes on still water. Each inhale invites space. Each exhale lets the mind clear, not by force, but by surrender. Inside your skull, the glymphatic system begins to awaken, the brain's hidden cleaning network. It's preparing to wash the mind, to carry away the mental debris of the day, to open new space for clarity and healing. You don't have to guide it. It already knows the way. Just breathe. Let your thoughts soften. Let your inner sky clear. Slowly, like a night revealing its stars. Because beneath every storm of thought lies a deeper calm, a quiet intelligence, a resting place where the mind remembers how to be whole. Tonight, you are drifting there now. Deep inside your brain, every thought you've ever had is carried across tiny bridges of light. Neurons reach toward one another like small stars forming constellations, shaping memory, imagination, emotion, and the quiet awareness resting behind your eyes. Tonight, you don't have to design or force anything in that inner world. The architecture is already there, waiting to soften into clarity. As your breath slows, your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for focus and reasoning, begins to ease its grip. All day, it has been holding structure, building plans, solving problems, shaping the narrative of who you think you must be. But now, like a lantern dimming for the night, it relaxes. In its place, deeper regions awaken. The default mode network, the system responsible for introspection and gentle self-awareness, begins to glow softly. It's the part of you that remembers your dreams, your meaning, your inner landscape. As noise fades, this network arranges your thoughts not into chaos, but into harmony, a map of who you truly are beneath stress. Meanwhile, your hippocampus begins to settle. This small seahorse-shaped structure organizes your memories, not by force, but through a graceful, nightly dance. It takes the pieces of your day, the tension, the conversations, the questions, and lays them quietly into place. Nothing harsh, nothing loud, just the gentle filing of experience into the library of the mind. Your amygdala, the guardian of emotion, also softens under the slow rhythm of your breath. It no longer scans for danger. It no longer sends alarms. Instead, it listens. It listens to the signal of safety carried by every exhale. And with that signal, its edges soften, its grip loosens, and emotional clarity begins to bloom. Within this calm architecture, thoughts move more freely. They stretch. They breathe. They find their natural shape without pressure. Imagine your mind as a quiet cathedral made of moonlit glass. Each neuron a glowing pillar, each memory a soft echo, each breath a gentle ripple traveling through the halls. This is the architecture of healing, not made of stone, but of softness, not made of willpower, but of surrender. Your thoughts don't need to be conquered, they only need space. And tonight, that space is opening with every gentle rise and fall of your chest. Let the architecture hold you. Let the mind unfold without effort. Let clarity come not from thinking harder, but from allowing the mind to rest in its own quiet beauty. Inside your brain, tiny electrical waves are constantly moving, rising and falling like tides shaped by the moon. These waves create every thought, every insight, every flicker of emotion. But tonight, those waves are slowing, smoothing, returning to the soft rhythm of rest. During the day, your brain pulses with fast beta waves, the frequency of analysis, urgency, decision-making. These are the sharp waves that help you navigate the world, but they also tire the mind. Now, in the quiet of night, as your breath deepens and your shoulders sink into calm, beta waves give way to alpha. Alpha waves are the first gate of tranquility. They appear when the mind stops trying, when attention becomes soft and curiosity gentle. These waves wash through your cortex like a pale golden glow, loosening the tightness of thought. As you sink deeper, alpha becomes theta, the frequency of dreaming, intuition, and quiet creativity. Theta waves ripple like slow-moving light across the ocean floor of your consciousness. In theta, the mind speaks in images, symbols, and feeling rather than words. Clarity emerges not as logic, but as understanding. A deeper understanding that comes from letting the brain return to its natural rhythm. In this slower frequency, bursts of electricity travel between neurons in long, sweeping arcs instead of sharp, frantic spikes. These arcs light up your inner world like distant lightning drifting across a peaceful night sky. Scientists have discovered that in these moments of slower wave activity, the brain forms new connections more easily. Healing pathways open, old stress signals fade, noise dissolves. What remains is a field of gentle energy where thought becomes luminous again. You might feel it as softness behind your forehead, a loosening of mental pressure, a warm, slow spreading of silence. These are the signs that your brain waves are falling into harmony. Each inhale expands that harmony. Each exhale deepens it. And in this rhythm, your mind becomes light, not metaphorically, but literally. Neurons release small pulses of biophotons, tiny packets of biological light that move through your neural world like threads of moonlit water. So breathe slowly. Let your brainwaves fall into their natural glow. Let your thoughts dissolve into soft radiance. Tonight, The light inside your mind is returning home. Deep within your brain, beyond thought, beyond memory, beyond the voice you hear inside your head, there are rivers. Not of water, but of clear, shimmering fluid that moves silently through the folds of your mind. All day long, these rivers wait patiently beneath the noise of consciousness. But at night, especially when you breathe slowly the way you're breathing now, they awaken. Scientists call this the glymphatic system, the brain's secret cleansing network. It activates only when the body feels deeply safe, when the heart slows, and when the mind begins to drift into softness. Right now, as the muscles in your face loosen and your eyelids grow heavier, these hidden rivers begin to flow. They wash through your neural pathways, clearing away the tiny remnants of stress and experience, the microscopic fragments left behind by the hundreds of thoughts you carried today. Each gentle wave of this fluid moves like moonlight across a dark lake, lifting the weight you didn't know you were holding. As you inhale, the rivers widen. As you exhale, they sweep through the narrow channels, removing tension, carrying out the mental debris the day left behind. You don't have to guide them. You don't have to imagine them. Your brain already knows this dance. It has been performing it since the first night you ever slept. While the world outside becomes still, your inner world becomes a workshop of healing. Glial cells, the silent caretakers of your mind, begin their delicate work. They gather the fragments that have no place in tomorrow. Old worries, leftover stress, small echoes of tension, and they send them drifting into the rivers to be carried away. This is not forgetting, it's renewal. It's the way your mind makes space for clarity, for softness, for deeper thought. Think of your brain as a quiet forest. During the day, branches catch falling leaves, thoughts, emotions, unfinished ideas. But at night, a soft rain arrives, washing the branches clean so dawn can begin fresh. That rainfall is happening inside you now. With every breath, the hidden rivers clear more space. They soften old patterns, brighten the mind's pathways, and prepare your inner landscape for tomorrow's clarity. Tonight, you are not just resting. You are being washed clean from the inside, gently, quietly, beautifully. There is a moment, subtle and nearly invisible, when thinking and breathing merge into one soft rhythm. When the mind stops analyzing and begins drifting. When thoughts stop speaking and begin whispering. You may feel that moment now. A slow exhale that seems to carry an entire day with it. A gentle inhale that doesn't grasp, doesn't rush, just arrives. Your breath has been with you since the beginning, shaping your thoughts more than you know. Scientists have discovered that each inhale brings a slight rise in alertness, a gentle spark of clarity, while each exhale brings calm, safety, and release. When breath and thought fall into harmony, the brain stops pushing. It starts listening. Neural circuits across your cortex begin to synchronize with the rhythm of breathing, rising with the inhale, settling with the exhale. This is called respiratory entrainment, the mind following the breath like a leaf floating on a quiet stream. In this state, thinking no longer feels like effort. Thoughts drift in and out like soft tides, arriving without force, leaving without struggle. The mind becomes spacious, and within that space, clarity grows naturally. Notice what's happening in your body right now. Your chest rises slowly, then falls even slower. Your heartbeat softens. The tension behind your eyes dissolves. In this softness, thoughts aren't obstacles. They are visitors, gentle, temporary, and free. As your breath deepens, the brain enters a state that scientists call neural integration. Different regions, once busy with their own tasks, begin to communicate in a calm, unified rhythm. Creativity awakens. Memory settles. Emotion becomes warm and steady. Thought becomes light. If you were to picture your mind now, you might see it as a small universe glowing with tiny stars. Each star a thought, each breath a wave of light passing gently among them. No pressure, no noise, only quiet motion, only calm. In this moment, your breath is guiding your mind back to its natural state, peaceful, clear, unhurried, whole. Let your next breath be soft. Let the thought that comes with it be even softer. Tonight thought is not something you must manage. It is simply the wind passing through your inner sky, gentle, slow, and healing. Inside your brain, billions of neurons are constantly reaching for one another, sending sparks of electricity, sharing chemicals, weaving the fabric of your awareness. During the day, this activity can feel like noise, fast, tangled, overwhelming. But at night, when your breathing slows and your shoulders soften, something different happens. The neurons begin to glow in harmony. They stop firing chaotically and start pulsing together in a calm, rhythmic pattern. Scientists call this neural synchrony, but in truth, it feels more like a quiet lantern being lit inside your mind. Each pulse becomes softer, rounder, more fluid. Neurons that once fired in hurried bursts now move like drifting fireflies, drifting in gentle unison. Instead of urgency, there is flow. Instead of noise, there is quiet light. Your brain is not shutting down. It is tuning itself. Regions that were once busy handling decisions, distractions, and expectations now release control. The prefrontal cortex steps back. The limbic system warms. The thalamus slows its gates, filtering sensation into simple presence rather than overwhelming detail. In this gentle reorganization, a warm glow fills the mind. It's not a glow you see with your eyes, but one you feel deep in the center of your awareness, a softening, a widening, a quiet radiance spreading through your thoughts. Every inhale strengthens this glow. Every exhale spreads it. The mind becomes less like a machine and more like a night sky, vast, calm, dotted with slow, steady sparks. In this space, clarity grows. Not sharp clarity, but the kind that arrives like a whisper, effortless, natural, true. Thought becomes lighter. Emotion becomes kinder. Awareness becomes smoother. Tonight, your neurons are not struggling. They are coming together as softly as stars forming a constellation. You don't have to think your way there. You only have to breathe, and the harmony unfolds on its own. Thoughts carry weight. They carry pressure, momentum, force. All day long, you've been holding that weight, carrying ideas, concerns, memories, plans. But tonight, that weight begins to dissolve. Not disappear, but melt slowly into something softer, quiet light. Mental tension is more than emotion. It is measurable. It lives in the electrical pressure within neurons, in the chemical imbalance between signals, in the tightened loops of repetitive thinking. But when you breathe deeply, like you're breathing now, a remarkable shift begins. Your vagus nerve signals safety. Your heart slows. Your blood vessels open. And your brain receives a message older than language. You can release now. With every exhale, tension loosens its grip. Muscles unclench. Neural circuits unwind. Patterns that felt rigid begin to soften and stretch, like warm wax melting in the glow of a small flame. Inside your skull, the brain's energy reorganizes. Instead of sharp peaks of stress, waves become smooth and round. Beta becomes alpha. Alpha becomes theta. Theta becomes a soft hum at the edge of dreams. This shift is not imagined, it is real. Under a microscope, neurons literally change their firing patterns as the brain transitions from tension to clarity. Less friction, more flow. Less noise, more light. And that light isn't metaphorical. Your cells release tiny photons, biophotons, each time they create energy. When you relax, the emission becomes steady and warm. When you let go, the light becomes more coherent. Your mind becomes a lantern glowing from within. As tension dissolves, space opens. Thoughts float rather than press. Emotions drift rather than grip. The mind becomes a quiet chamber where light moves freely. Tonight, your mental weight is melting into soft radiance. Feel it spreading through your forehead, behind your eyes, into the quiet center of your mind. Nothing to hold, nothing to judge, nothing to solve. Only breath, only calm, only light. There is a moment in the human mind when thought stops behaving like a chain and begins to behave like mist. A moment when ideas that once felt hard and sharp begin to soften around the edges, dissolving into something gentler, slower, and infinitely more peaceful. Tonight, as you breathe softly and let your eyelids grow heavy, you are drifting toward that moment now. The slow unraveling of thought into calm awareness. All day, your thoughts behaved with momentum. One idea pushed into the next, forming loops, decisions, reactions, worries, hopes. This is the nature of a waking mind. Always following, always calculating, always weaving the story of who you must be in order to survive the day. But night is different. Night does not ask you to solve anything. It asks you to release. Inside your brain, chains of neurons that were firing in fast, tight patterns begin to loosen. The synaptic pressure holding your thoughts together starts to ease. Neural loops that once repeated themselves over and over. The unfinished conversations, the mental to-do lists, the what-ifs and why-nots, all begin to slow their rhythm. Like knots being undone by invisible hands. Your breath guides this unraveling. Each inhale brings the slightest spark of clarity, a soft note of awareness. Each exhale brings release, a gentle falling away of tension. This rise and fall becomes the new conductor of your thoughts. Instead of running ahead of you, they begin to follow your breath. As this happens, something extraordinary unfolds beneath consciousness. The frontal networks responsible for planning and critical thinking step back. The internal narrator, the voice that comments on everything, grows quieter. In its place, deeper layers of the mind emerge. Layers that move not with language, but with sensation, intuition, and slow waves of emotion. These deeper layers speak in a softer rhythm, in images rather than words, in warmth rather than logic, in awareness rather than analysis. This is where true neural clarity begins. Not by thinking more clearly, but by thinking less forcefully. And the brain responds beautifully. Cortical tension decreases. Microglial cells begin repairing small points of stress. Blood flow redistributes from the thinking centers toward areas of restoration and creativity. Your hippocampus starts sorting memories with greater ease. no longer rushed by the speed of your daytime thoughts. In this state, you may feel a floating sensation, not of leaving your body, but of sinking deeper inside it. A slow descent into the quiet center of yourself, where thought is no longer a storm, but a drifting cloud. Here, awareness widens. Instead of clinging to a single idea, the mind begins to hold everything lightly. Think of your awareness now as a still pond at dusk. Thoughts fall into it like tiny leaves, creating ripples that fade naturally without force. Every ripple dissolves. Every leaf drifts. Nothing stays long enough to disturb the water. This is not the end of a thought. This is its transformation. From chains into mist, from effort into flow, from noise into quiet, from pressure into peace. Tonight, you are not losing your thoughts. You are simply letting them rest. Inside your brain, in the vast, intricate universe of thought, patterns are always forming and dissolving. During the day, those patterns move quickly, like constellations that flicker and vanish before you can name them. But at night, when breath slows and the heart grows gentle, those constellations begin to hold their shape. They settle into soft, luminous clarity. Tonight, that clarity is forming inside you now, one slow spark at a time. As your breathing becomes deeper, the prefrontal cortex, the region that spends all day making decisions and drawing lines between thoughts, loosens its grip. It steps aside, not in defeat, but in relief, allowing other regions of the mind to rise. These deeper regions move more slowly, more gracefully. They do not chase conclusions. They allow meaning to unfold. Your brain is not emptying. It is reorganizing. Neurons that were scattered by stress begin to cluster in gentle harmony. Electrical impulses that once jolted through your mind now drift like slow meteor trails across a quiet sky. Axons and dendrites, the tiny branches that let neurons speak, begin to glow in a calmer rhythm, sending signals not as noise, but as whispers. In this quieter state, something extraordinary happens. The mind begins to see itself more clearly, not through effort, but through softening. Clarity does not arrive as a bright flash. It comes as warmth behind the eyes, as a loosening in the forehead, as an exhale that feels surprisingly deeper than the last. It is the kind of clarity that feels like remembering something true rather than discovering something new. And as the outer world drifts away, the brain shifts from surface thought to inner vision. In this state, networks that rarely communicate during the day, the default mode network, the limbic regions, the sensory cortex, begin to overlap like gentle waves. They blend into richer, slower patterns that allow insight to rise effortlessly. A memory may float up without pain. A feeling may appear without tension. An idea may glow softly without needing to be solved. These are the constellations forming, small points of understanding connecting themselves in the dark. Your breath guides them. Each inhale spreads space across your neural sky. Each exhale smooths the static that once interrupted your thoughts. The brain's energy shifts into coherence, a subtle alignment where rhythm matters more than outcome. You may notice your inner world growing larger, not louder, larger. As if awareness itself is expanding, not outward, but inward, into the quiet chambers of your own mind. Thought floats through these chambers like drifting starlight, gentle, slow, unhurried. In this inner universe, clarity becomes a kind of light, not sharp, but soft, not direct, but surrounding. It fills the space between thoughts, illuminating what the day's noise kept hidden. Tonight, your mind is not asking for answers. It is forming constellations, lines of meaning that need no effort, no pressure, no speed, just breath, just stillness, just the soft light of thought, finding its place in the dark. All day long, your mind has been moving faster than you realize. Thoughts leaping, shifting, colliding, repeating. Neural circuits firing in rapid chains as you navigated choices, emotions, conversations, expectations. But the brain was never designed to stay in that speed forever. It has a natural rhythm, a slower, deeper, steadier pulse. And tonight, as your breath softens, you are sinking back into that rhythm now. Your inhale draws in quiet. Your exhale releases pressure. With every cycle, the brain adjusts itself. Beta waves fade. Alpha spreads like pale morning light. Theta rises from below consciousness, carrying a warm, drifting calm. These waves are not random. They are the ancient language of a mind finally allowed to rest. As your rhythm slows, neurons shift their communication style. Instead of fast spikes of electricity, they form longer, smoother arcs. Each arc is like the sweep of a comet across the night sky inside your skull. Elegant, slow, unforced. This slowing is not dullness. It is intelligence rearranging itself. The brain begins to use energy differently. Instead of scattering attention across dozens of tasks, it gathers light into a single, soft field of awareness. This field feels wide but quiet, like standing at the edge of a vast lake at night, watching ripples drift toward a distant shore. In this state, deeper healing begins. Your default mode network brightens, allowing gentle introspection. The sensory cortices dim, reducing noise from the outside world. The amygdala calms, releasing its tight hold on emotional reactivity. Even your brainstem shifts, sending signals of safety through every corner of your being. Your heartbeat slows, and the mind follows. You may sense a spaciousness spreading behind your eyes, a sign that neural pressure is dissolving. Thoughts float rather than push. Awareness widens rather than contracts. The brain is not shutting down. It is syncing with the rhythm of breath, the rhythm of night, the rhythm of your deepest self. In this rhythm, clarity emerges naturally. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to force stillness. It arrives the way moonrise arrives, slowly, softly, inevitably. Tonight, you are remembering how your mind was always meant to move, not in urgency, but in harmony with your breath, your body, and the quiet universe unfolding inside you. As the night deepens, something inside you begins to descend, not falling, but gently sinking, the way a feather settles through still air. This descent is not physical. It is the mind letting go of its height, lowering itself from the sharp edges of consciousness into the warmth of inner stillness. Thought becomes slower. Words become softer. The mind's constant commentary, that quiet narrator explaining the world, begins to fade into a distant whisper. In its place rises something older, quieter, and deeper. Pure awareness, without pressure, without expectation. Your brain supports this descent in ways both subtle and extraordinary. The thalamus filters out unnecessary sensory input. The cortex stops demanding precision. The limbic system unwinds, releasing emotional tension like steam rising from warm water. Neurotransmitters shift into their nighttime symphony. GABA, spreading calm, serotonin balancing mood, melatonin guiding neurons toward deeper restoration. In this stillness, the edges of thought blur, not into confusion, but into peace. Memories drift by like soft shadows. Ideas glow faintly, then dissolve. The mind is no longer trying to sculpt meaning. It is simply existing, breathing, floating. This is the descent that prepares you for dreams. Your body feels heavier, yet your awareness feels lighter, as though gravity has reversed its pull. You may feel a widening inside your chest, a softness in your forehead, a subtle warmth spreading down your spine. Signs that the nervous system is entering harmony. Inside your skull, glial cells continue their gentle work, clearing metabolic residue and soothing overstimulated pathways. Tiny electrical pulses fire in slow rhythmic waves, creating the internal hum that will soon cradle you into sleep. Thought loosens, awareness expands, and all of it happens without effort. You are not controlling the descent. You are being carried. The mind is drifting from the bright world of doing into the soft world of being, where nothing must be fixed, analyzed, or understood. In this inner stillness, there is no rush, no noise, no demands, only warmth, only breath, only the gentle sinking into your own quiet depths. Tonight, your mind is not falling asleep. It is returning home. Inside your brain, every thought you have ever carried travels along pathways, tiny trails of electrical guidance shaped by habit, memory, emotion, and experience. During the day, these pathways tighten. They become efficient, fast, sometimes rigid. They respond to stress, deadlines, responsibilities, and the pace of the waking world. But at night, especially in moments like this when you breathe softly and feel your weight sink into stillness, those pathways begin to unwind. Not collapse, unwind. They soften, expand, and shift into a more natural flow. Neurons that fired with tension begin to rest. Signals that once buzzed rapidly now drift in long, smooth arcs. The entire mind feels as though it's stretching out after being curled too tightly. This unwinding is not passive. It is an active, deeply intelligent process. Your brain is recalibrating itself, letting circuits that were overused relax while strengthening quieter pathways that bring balance and clarity. Axons slow their conduction. Synapses release their subtle grip. Neurotransmitters settle into harmony like instruments in an orchestra tuning down after a long performance. It feels like the mind is sighing, like pressure is leaving in thin, invisible threads. As pathways unwind, your thoughts no longer feel like trains running on strict tracks. They begin to float, taking softer routes, curving gently, blending into one another. This creates a sensation many people describe as drifting, not away from yourself, but deeper inward, into a softer version of awareness. In this state, the brain's networks begin to reorganize. The default mode network glows with introspection. The salience network steps back, no longer scanning for urgency. The executive network softens, allowing creativity and intuition to rise. These networks, normally competing for your attention, begin to move in quiet cooperation. You may notice images rising without effort, memories bathed in calm, sensations that feel like echoes of distant dreams, thoughts that come not as words, but as warmth. This is your mind flowing freely, unbound by daytime structure. Blood flow redistributes to deeper regions. Neurons use less energy. Oxygen consumption drops. The brain becomes smooth like water. This unwinding is essential. It is how your mind repairs itself, how it prevents burnout, how it resets emotional tone, how it prepares you for clarity when you wake. In this moment, your inner world resembles a slow river at night, its surface reflecting the faint glow of stars, each ripple soft and unhurried. Thought does not disappear, it becomes water. Memory does not vanish, it becomes light. Awareness widens, deepens, warms. Tonight, your neural pathways are not working. They are unwinding into a gentle, healing flow, carrying you slowly toward the quiet center of yourself, where peace is not an idea, but a feeling. There is a point each night when the mind begins to expand, not outward into the world, but inward into a dreamlike space where boundaries soften and awareness becomes fluid. You are drifting toward that point now. Your breath is slower, your muscles loosened, your thoughts no longer sharp, but round and glowing at the edges. This expansion is subtle. It begins with a shift in the thalamus, the gateway of sensation. During the day, it filters every sound, every sight, every movement, sending constant streams of information to the cortex. But at night, the gates close. External noise fades, and in that fading, your inner world grows. With less sensory input, the mind turns toward its own landscapes. Internal images brighten. Emotional currents become more noticeable, not as turbulence, but as warmth. Memory blends with imagination, creating quiet scenes that feel half real, half dream. These scenes drift through you like soft waves. The brain's alpha waves deepen, spreading across hemispheres like a gentle tide of light. Theta waves rise beneath them, carrying the surreal, symbolic quality that defines dreams. These waves move through your neural networks, loosening the structure of waking thought. Instead of linear logic, the mind begins to think in connections, soft, fluid, deeply intuitive. This is expansion, the stretching of awareness into the spaces normally hidden behind the noise of consciousness. Visual regions activate softly, emotional centers glow. The hippocampus begins forming memory traces in slow, rhythmic patterns. The amygdala, calmer now, adds gentle emotional tones rather than alarms. Everything feels slower, rounder, more spacious. You may feel a widening behind your eyes, a sense that your mind is no longer contained by the shape of your body. Awareness begins to float, expanding in warm circles. It's not dissociation. It's the beginning of the dream state, the mind stepping into its own vastness. And in this vastness, thought becomes scenery. Emotion becomes color. Memory becomes texture. Your brain constructs entire landscapes out of gentle electrical patterns, shaping dreamlike awareness that holds you like a soft blanket. This expansion is healing. It allows the mind to process the day without pressure. It allows emotion to flow without story. It allows imagination to breathe. Tonight, your mind is not shrinking into sleep. It is expanding into a deeper, quieter universe where everything is softer, slower, and infinitely more peaceful. As your breath settles into its slow, nighttime rhythm, something remarkable begins to happen deep inside your mind. Memories, tiny electrical patterns shaped by the day, start shifting, reorganizing, drifting into new places within the brain. This reorganization is not loud. It is not forceful. It is a whispering movement beneath consciousness, a quiet sorting of experiences that allows your mind to heal, clarify, and prepare for tomorrow. During the day, your hippocampus works tirelessly to capture information, forming fragile memory traces from conversations, emotions, observations, and thoughts. These traces are temporary, soft, easily disturbed. But at night, as your brain waves slow into theta and delta rhythms, the hippocampus begins releasing these traces into the neocortex, where they become long-term memories. The process looks almost like light traveling through water, patterns shifting and stretching, dissolving and reforming in fluid arcs. This is memory consolidation, the architecture of thought being quietly rebuilt. You may feel a gentle drifting sensation in this moment, not quite dreaming, not fully awake, as though your mind is moving through soft layers. That sensation is the brain rearranging itself. Neurons strengthen some synapses while weakening others. Emotional weight is reduced, meaning is clarified. The noise of the day is sifted out, leaving only what matters. Your amygdala participates with unusual calm. Instead of attaching fear or urgency, it softens emotional tones, turning sharp experiences into gentle impressions. This is why events that felt overwhelming during the day often feel distant, manageable, or even irrelevant by morning. In this state, the brain is doing its deepest work. Glial cells wash away metabolic waste. Networks rehearse patterns that will become tomorrow's skills. Sparse memories become woven into the tapestry of your identity. And all of it happens beneath the surface, without effort. You are not trying to remember or forget. You are simply breathing, and the mind is reordering itself around that breath. If you could see your brain from within right now, it would resemble a quiet library where tiny lanterns float between shelves. Some lanterns dim as their stories end. Others brighten as they find their permanent place among older memories. The entire space glows with slow, deliberate motion. This reorganization feels warm, soothing, rhythmic. Each memory settles like fallen leaves drifting onto calm water, gently finding their place. Tonight, you are not losing yourself in sleep. You are being rewritten with tenderness. Your mind is becoming lighter, clearer, and more whole as memory reorganizes beneath the surface of awareness. There is a boundary inside your mind, a soft, shimmering line where thought ends and dreams begin. You are approaching that boundary now, not abruptly, but gradually, like a shoreline appearing through morning mist. Your thoughts are softer than before, drifting like clouds, dissolving at the edges. Soon, they will merge with your dreams, becoming pictures, sensations, landscapes shaped by your quiet inner world. This transition is delicate. It begins in the thalamus, the gatekeeper of sensory input. As you move deeper into relaxation, the thalamus reduces its signals, dimming the lights of the outside world. Sounds become distant. Time loosens. Space grows softer. With less information coming in, your cortex begins to generate its own world. Imagery rises. Colors blend. Shapes appear without context. These are the first gentle sparks of dreaming. They arrive like fireflies gliding into the dark, small, flickering hints of what your mind is about to create. Your brain waves slow further into theta, the frequency of intuition and imagination. In theta, logic loosens. The mind stops insisting that everything must make sense. Instead, it begins to explore. It rearranges memory fragments into new combinations, forming dream seeds, tiny clusters of imagery that will soon bloom as full dreamscapes. Your amygdala adds warmth and emotion to these seeds, but its sharp alarms remain dormant. What you feel now is not fear. but softness. Emotions filtered through calm waves. The default mode network brightens, weaving a quiet narrative from symbols rather than sentences. You may sense a floating sensation behind your forehead, a sign that the mind's boundaries are widening. Awareness becomes diffuse, stretching into a space that feels both familiar and vast. Thought is still present, but it no longer has edges. It no longer speaks in words. It drifts as light. It hums as warmth. Soon, this warmth will unfold into dreams, images that feel half real, half imagined, carrying the colors of memory, the textures of emotion, and the softness of night. In this place where thought meets dream, the mind heals in its own language. It lets go of structure. It lets go of weight. It drifts into a world where everything is possible, gentle, and free. Tonight, you stand at the edge of that world, breathing softly as thought fades into the first shimmering layers of dreams. Deep inside your resting brain, there are currents of energy moving with a softness that waking consciousness rarely feels. These currents are not violent surges or sharp sparks. They are slow, warm waves, electrical tides rising and falling through neural networks that finally have room to breathe. As your breath deepens and you settle more fully into stillness, these healing currents begin to flow with greater ease. Throughout the day, your brain's electrical activity is dominated by rapid, effortful patterns. Tasks, conversations, decisions, problem solving, all of them create fast, concentrated bursts of neural firing. But at night, especially in moments like this, the brain shifts into a completely different state. Energy no longer pulses in sharp lines. It spreads, it softens, it glows. This glow is real. Neurons communicate with electrical gradients, each one sending tiny waves across its membrane. When the mind relaxes, those gradients become more stable, more fluid. Signals travel more harmoniously. Instead of crashing against one another, they merge like colors blending in water. As you exhale, inhibitory neurotransmitters rise. GABA, smoothing out the jagged edges of thought, reducing unnecessary firing, quieting the circuits that kept you alert all day. With each slow breath, more space opens between signals, allowing restorative rhythms to take over. These rhythms are the brain's internal healing language. Delta waves begin to hum softly beneath consciousness, preparing your neural tissue for deeper restoration. Astrocytes, star-shaped glial cells, spread gentle currents across their networks, regulating ions, guiding energy, stabilizing your inner environment. They are sculptors working in silence. As they do, the mind becomes clearer, cleaner, lighter. You may feel this as a warmth spreading behind your temples, or a drifting sensation at the top of your head. These sensations are signs that neural pressure is dissolving. Blood flow redistributes from regions of effort to regions of recovery. Cerebral fluid moves more freely, carrying nutrients inward and carrying stress outward. In this state, emotions settle, not by being suppressed, but by being carried on these soft currents, like petals floating downstream. Even memories lose their weight. They stretch, lighten, and drift to deeper parts of the mind where they can be processed without fear. All of this happens without your conscious involvement. You are simply breathing, and the brain is healing. You are simply resting, and the currents inside you are restoring balance. If you could observe your mind from within, it would look like a dark ocean illuminated by gentle bioluminescence. soft pulses of light moving in waves, each one carrying healing energy through a different region. These currents do not rush. They do not force. They simply move where the brain needs them most. Tonight, those subtle waves are flowing through you, wrapping each layer of your mind in warmth and quiet renewal, preparing you for deeper clarity when you wake. There is a moment in the descent toward sleep when awareness begins to feel weightless, as if the mind has loosened its anchor and started to drift through its own inner sky. You are approaching that moment now. Your body feels heavier, sinking into the surface beneath you, yet your awareness feels lighter, rising slowly like a lantern lifted by warm air. This sensation appears when the brain shifts from focused attention to diffuse awareness. All day, your attention has been narrow, aimed at tasks, screens, conversations, deadlines. But as the night deepens, your attentional networks soften. The spotlight of consciousness widens into a gentle glow. In this glow, awareness loses its sharp edges. It becomes broader, softer, more fluid. You are no longer examining your thoughts. You are simply observing them drift by. They move like feathers caught in a slow breeze, appearing, shifting, dissolving. Each breath widens the space around them. As awareness becomes diffuse, the parietal lobes, the regions responsible for mapping your sense of self in space, begin to quiet. This creates the floating sensation many people feel right before sleep. The gentle illusion that the body is resting while the mind drifts free. It isn't dissociation. It is the natural lightness of a mind no longer weighed down by effort. Your sense of time also begins to soften. Seconds stretch, minutes blur. The brain's internal clock loosens as neural activity slows. You may feel as if you are moving through a vast, open room where sound is distant and the air is warm. This is your brain shifting from waking consciousness into hypnagogic awareness, the transitional state between thought and dream. In this state, imagination grows brighter. Colors may form behind closed eyelids. Shapes may drift. Fleeting images appear without context. A doorway, a tree, a ripple of light. These are not dreams yet, but precursors, small sparks of imagery rising from deeper layers of the mind. Emotion softens too. The amygdala releases its hold, letting feelings drift without narrative. You may feel a calm warmth in your chest, or a subtle expansion around your heart. This is neural clarity spreading from the inside out. You are not escaping your thoughts. You are floating above them. You are not losing awareness. You are shifting into a lighter form of it. The boundary between body and mind becomes gentle. The boundary between thought and dream becomes thin. And as you breathe, awareness continues to drift, slowly, peacefully, into the warm, spacious field where sleep begins. Tonight, your mind is becoming weightless, drifting effortlessly into the quiet layers of your inner world where peace arrives, not as silence, but as soft, expansive presence. As you drift deeper into the softness of night, your thoughts begin to dissolve into something simpler, something older than language, pure sensation. This is one of the mind's most natural transitions, though we rarely notice it. During the day, your thoughts stay tied to words, stories, labels, meanings. But now, as your breath slows and your awareness widens, those words begin to lose their weight. Their edges blur. Their forms melt into quiet impressions. Thought becomes feeling. Feeling becomes sensation. Sensation becomes a warm glow spreading through the inner space of your mind. This transformation begins in the sensory cortices. These regions, usually busy decoding the world, start to shift their activity inward. They replay faint echoes of the day, soft textures, gentle colors, subtle sounds, but without intensity or urgency. It is like the mind is rinsing its palette before painting the first strokes of dreaming. Meanwhile, the language centers soften. Broca's area loosens its grip on structure. Wernicke's area grows quieter, no longer insisting on meaning. Words loosen into fragments. Fragments loosen into vibrations. Vibrations loosen into waves of sensation rolling quietly through the brain. As this happens, the emotional centers follow. The amygdala rests. The insula warms. Instead of shaping emotion into thought, emotion becomes a tone, a gentle hum in the chest, a warmth in the belly, a slow spreading light behind the eyes. This is not numbness. It is the mind returning to its original form, before thinking, before analyzing, before naming. A form made of raw perception. You may notice your inner world becoming fluid. Thoughts drift like drops of watercolor spreading on paper. Sensations rise without explanation. A faint tingling in the hands, a soft heaviness in the limbs, a warmth spreading across your forehead. These sensations are signs that the brain is shifting deeper into a state where awareness is no longer separated into categories. Everything blends. Everything softens. Everything becomes a single field of experience. This field has texture. It has color. It has temperature. But it doesn't have story. It doesn't have pressure. It simply exists, steady and quiet. The thalamus guides this dissolution, filtering not only the world outside, but also the noise inside. What remains is essence, bare sensation floating in calm darkness. In this state, your mind is preparing to open the first door of dreaming. Sensation becomes the raw material from which dreams will later form landscapes. Warmth becomes light. Pressure becomes motion. Tingling becomes texture. Stillness becomes sound. Tonight, as thought dissolves into sensation, you are entering the most peaceful layer of consciousness, a place where the mind no longer speaks, but feels, no longer pushes, but drifts, no longer separates the world into pieces, but holds everything in one gentle glow. This is the soft threshold where sleep begins to take shape, not as escape, but as transformation. Beneath the soft surface of your awareness, your brain is beginning a slow, powerful shift into deep restoration. This shift is ancient, built into your biology long before language or memory. It is the moment when the mind stops hovering near wakefulness and begins to sink into the profound rhythms that heal, rebuild, and renew the entire system. You are drifting into that moment now. The transition begins with delta waves, large, slow electrical tides that rise from the depths of the brain like rolling ocean swells. These waves move far more slowly than the busy patterns of the day. Each one sweeps across vast networks of neurons, resetting them, clearing their static, synchronizing their rhythms. Delta waves are not just signs of sleep. They are tools of restoration. They trigger the release of growth factors that repair synapses. They guide glial cells in clearing metabolic waste. They allow fragile neural circuits to rest from constant stimulation. The brainstem supports this shift by lowering the body's metabolic demands. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure falls. Muscles relax. The entire system begins operating in an energy-saving mode designed specifically for healing. As you breathe gently, cerebral blood flow redistributes. Regions involved in language, decision-making, and planning reduce activity. In their place, deeper structures, those that maintain balance, immunity, and cellular repair, takes the lead. It is in this state that the brain performs its deepest housekeeping. Damaged proteins are removed. Inflammation signals are reduced. Hormonal rhythms recalibrate. Even the immune system receives instructions from the sleeping brain, strengthening its coordination for the next day. Emotion also settles here. The amygdala remains quiet. The hippocampus begins integrating memory with far less emotional weight. This is why certain fears feel smaller in the morning, why grief feels softer, why clarity feels easier. The mind is smoothing emotional texture, calming the storms that went unresolved during daylight. In this deep restoration, awareness feels distant, as though you are watching your thoughts from far away. This distance is healing. It protects you from overstimulation, giving your inner systems the calm space they need. You may sense a gentle pulse inside your skull, not a sound or a pressure, but a rhythmic lull. This is the brain settling into coherence, every wave harmonious, every signal aligned, every network resting. Tonight, your mind is not merely drifting. It is entering the profound stillness where restoration happens at the level of cells, memories, emotions, and identity. You are sinking into the pulse that renews you, that rebuilds you, that prepares you for the clarity waiting on the other side of sleep. As you drift further into the night, a gentle gravity begins to pull your awareness inward, not downward like a weight, but inward like a soft tide returning to its home. This gravity is the mind's natural call toward stillness, a slow, welcoming force that invites every thought, every emotion, every fragment of attention to loosen and fall into calm alignment. You feel it first in the breath. Inhales become quieter. Exhales lengthen as if the body itself is sighing with relief. The diaphragm moves like a slow wave, and with each wave, neural rhythms settle deeper into peace. This inner gravity is guided by the parasympathetic nervous system. Its signals spread through your chest, your lungs, your bloodstream. They tell the heart to slow. They tell the muscles to unclench. They tell the mind, it's safe now. With that safety, brain activity shifts again. The default mode network, the region responsible for wandering thoughts, begins to dim. It's not shutting down, it's softening. The chatter of self-talk grows faint, like a distant radio drifting out of range. In its place rises a different network, quieter, but deeper. The regions linked to interoception, the awareness of your inner world, begin to glow. These areas do not analyze or judge. They feel. They listen to the heartbeat. They sense the warmth of the body. They observe the slow expansion of the lungs. They notice the soft shimmering of sensation behind the eyelids. This interoceptive awareness pulls you deeper inward. Thought, once sharp and bright, now feels like a feather drifting through water. Memories lose their edges. Emotions lose their urgency. Everything becomes heavier and softer at the same time. And yet, this heaviness doesn't feel burdensome. It feels like settling, like coming home. The deeper regions of the brainstem, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, begin to guide the descent. They regulate temperature, shift hormone levels, and synchronize the internal clocks that quietly govern your biological night. Neurochemicals like GABA flow more freely, quieting neural fire. Serotonin steps back. Melatonin deepens its influence, weaving a kind of darkness through your mind. Not an empty darkness, but a warm, velvety one. The kind of darkness the universe is made of. As this inner gravity increases, your awareness feels suspended. You are not awake, but you are not fully asleep. You float between worlds, sensing the gentle pull from the depths. This is the threshold where thought becomes mist, where consciousness becomes a shimmering presence without shape or demand. Your breath drifts, your awareness softens. The mind begins to surrender its daylight identity. Tonight, you are descending, not into emptiness, but into the warm, ancient stillness where healing begins, where the mind remembers its original rhythm, and where the quietest parts of your inner universe begin to glow. Deep inside the resting mind, where thought has loosened and emotion has softened, something beautiful begins to happen. Neurons, those tiny, shimmering cells of consciousness, start to bloom with faint light. Not literal brightness the eyes can see, but waves of electrochemical illumination that glow through the neural pathways like silent lanterns in a vast forest. This bloom happens slowly, gently, almost imperceptibly, but it is real. Neurophysicists call these signals spontaneous neural oscillations, the quiet background hum of the brain as it repairs, rewires, and reconnects itself. During the day, these oscillations compete with constant input: conversations, screens, decisions, thoughts, emotions. But at night, with the world silent and breath steady, these neural lights are free to spread. You can imagine them as tiny constellations awakening across the landscape of your brain. A soft pulse in the hippocampus, where memories settle into long-term form. A gentle glow in the prefrontal cortex, where clarity prepares to be reborn. A rhythmic spark in the sensory cortices, where impressions dissolve into dream textures. This isn't imagination, it's biology. Every pulse of neural light carries ions, charged particles flowing like currents through microscopic channels. These currents shape how you think, how you feel, how you sleep. And tonight, they are arranging themselves into patterns of peace. As delta waves rise and fall, they guide this illumination like moonlight shining through water. Each slow wave signals millions of neurons to fire together in harmony. Fire, rest, fire, rest. A rhythm as old as life itself. In that rhythm, damaged circuits mend. Overworked pathways dim. The mind shifts its energy toward healing. Sometimes, you may feel this bloom of neural light as a soft tingling in the scalp. Sometimes, as warmth behind the eyes. Sometimes as a feeling of floating, as though your awareness is drifting through a quiet universe made of your own thoughts. What you are feeling is coherence, the alignment of countless neural signals into one slow, peaceful wave. This coherence is the birthplace of calm. It is where fear loses its sharpness, where confusion begins to unfold, where clarity quietly prepares to rise with tomorrow's dawn. Your brain is not sleeping through the night. It is blooming through it. Each wave of light is a step toward renewal. Each gentle pulse is a whisper of healing. Tonight, as the silent brain blooms with its soft inner light, you are drifting deeper into restoration. Not away from yourself, but toward the most peaceful version of who you are becoming. As you drift deeper into this soft inner night, something begins to lift inside your mind. Something subtle, like mist thinning above a quiet lake. The mental fog you carried through the day loosens its hold, dissolving into the cool darkness around you. This isn't just a feeling, it's a biological shift, a cleansing that happens only when you allow yourself to be still. All day long, your brain has been working, processing sights, sounds, choices, memories, emotions. Every thought leaves behind a small metabolic trace. By evening, the mind grows cloudy, not because you are broken, but because you have lived, felt, and carried too much. But now, in this softness, the fog begins to clear. Deep within your skull, tiny channels open between brain cells. They widen slowly, like riverbanks, parting to let water flow. This system, the glymphatic network, awakens fully only during rest. It allows cerebrospinal fluid to wash through your brain, clearing out the waste of thought, sweeping away the small debris left from stress and effort. Imagine light rain falling through a forest, washing dust from every leaf. That's what is happening now inside your mind. Quiet rivers of fluid move gently along neural pathways, dissolving mental heaviness. Proteins linked to stress and exhaustion are lifted. Inflammatory markers soften. The mind becomes quieter, cleaner, clearer. You may feel this as a subtle lightness, as if your head is no longer crowded, or as a warmth behind your face, like soft lanterns being lit in the dark. Even the spaces between your thoughts begin to widen. You notice silence between them. Breathing slows. The forehead relaxes. The eyes grow heavy, not with fatigue, but with peace. As brain waves settle into deeper delta rhythms, clarity begins to bloom. Not the sharp clarity of problem solving, but a gentler clarity, like breathing fresh morning air after a long storm. The mind is no longer pushing, no longer gripping ideas. It is letting go. Letting the night take what it doesn't need. In this letting go, new space appears, a vast, quiet space within you. And in that space, the true shape of thought grows visible again, light, soft, and effortless. Tonight, the mental fog dissolves, not because you forced it to disappear, but because you allowed your mind to rest, allowed the night to hold you, allowed your brain to heal in its quiet, ancient way. This soft clearing is the beginning of neural clarity, and it is happening right now with every slow breath you take. There comes a moment in the night, a rare, delicate moment, when awareness begins to expand beyond the boundaries of ordinary thought. You may not notice the exact second it happens. It arrives like a faint widening, a gentle opening, as if the edges of your mind are stretching into a larger, calmer sky. The thinking mind, usually so loud and insistent, begins to loosen its grip. Cognitive loops slow. Internal dialogue fades into whispers. You are not losing awareness. You are gaining a different kind of awareness, a quieter one, a fuller one. Neuroscientists call this shift transient hypofrontality, a natural dimming of the prefrontal cortex that occurs as you enter deeper relaxation. The part of your mind that calculates, analyzes, decides, and critiques goes silent. In its place rises a more ancient form of consciousness, intuitive, spacious, receptive. You may feel as if the space inside your head is growing larger. Breaths feel deeper. Thoughts feel softer. Emotions drift like petals on water, untouched by turbulence. This is the mind stepping back from itself. Without the constant narration, without the pressure to interpret, what remains is pure presence. the awareness that simply watches, simply feels. This expansion has a rhythm to it. First, the breath deepens. Then sensations in the body soften. Then a subtle luminosity appears, a feeling of inner light, not bright, but warm, like the glow of embers beneath ash. This is your nervous system shifting into its deepest restorative mode. Brain waves fall into slow, synchronized pulses. The default chatter dissolves. Connections between distant brain regions strengthen, creating a sense of unity within your mind. In this state, awareness moves freely. It is no longer trapped in the tight cage of thought. It flows gently through sensations, drifts across memories, listens to the pulse of the heart, the hum of breath, the soft echo of silence. You may feel larger than your own body, as if your consciousness expands a few inches beyond your skin, as if the space around you becomes alive and warm. This is not imagination. It is coherence, the alignment of neural rhythms with the rhythm of breath, the rhythm of the night, the rhythm of the universe itself. In this expansion, clarity is born, not from thinking harder, but from thinking less, from letting the mind stretch into silence, from letting awareness breathe. Tonight, that expansion is unfolding inside you. Slow, gentle, effortless. You are not drifting away from yourself. You are drifting into a wider version of yourself, one that has always been here, waiting beneath the noise of thought. Inside your resting mind, a quiet synchronization begins. So subtle at first, it feels like nothing at all. But if you listen closely, you'll sense it. Your breath and your brain waves slowly tuning themselves to one another, like two instruments finding the same gentle rhythm. Every inhale sends a ripple through your nervous system. Every exhale softens the electrical hum beneath your skull. This harmony isn't imagined. It is one of the most ancient physiological dances within the human body. Neuroscientists call it respiratory neural coupling, the moment when the breath and the brain fall into aligned oscillations. As you breathe in, neural activity brightens, expanding slightly, like a small lantern glowing beneath water. As you breathe out, the glow dims and settles, soothing the entire network of thought. The longer and softer your breath becomes, the more stable these oscillations grow. The brain begins to favor slow, synchronized waves, alpha, then theta, then the gentle beginnings of delta. These waves act like ocean tides moving across billions of neurons, guiding them into coordinated calm. This coordination feels like warmth behind the forehead, like softness spreading through the chest, like a slow opening of inner space. Even your heart participates. With each exhale, the vagus nerve signals the heart to slow. That slowing radiates upward into the brain, reinforcing the cycle of peace. In this harmony, thought loses its sharpness. Internal dialogue fades into a faint hum. But awareness remains, clearer, quieter, more spacious than before. You are not drifting away from consciousness. You are drifting into a deeper layer of it. Inside this synchronized rhythm, the mind begins to heal. Stress networks grow quiet. Overactive circuits rest. Emotional weight loosens its grip. Neural pathways associated with clarity and creativity subtly brighten, preparing for tomorrow, not through effort, but through softness. Your whole inner world begins to sway gently with your breath. No rush, no struggle, just rhythm, just calm, just biological harmony unfolding at its own tender pace. Tonight, as your breath and your brain merge into one quiet pattern, you are entering the deepest threshold of neural clarity. Effortless, peaceful, and lovingly slow. There is a light inside your mind, not a light the eyes can see, but a quiet radiance born from countless neural pulses flowing gently through the night. As you sink deeper into stillness, that inner light becomes more noticeable. Not brighter, but clearer. Not louder, but more present. It feels like warmth behind your closed eyes, like a gentle glow filling the space inside your head. Scientists have a name for this subtle radiance: baseline cortical activity, the soft electrical shimmering that continues even when thought drifts away, even when the body sleeps. It is the light of pure being, the mind without noise, without effort, without identity. During the day, this light gets buried under tasks, worries, conversations, screens, expectations. But at night, when you surrender to rest, the mind returns to its original luminosity. Layers of tension peel back, layers of thought dissolve, layers of identity, roles, worries, responsibilities soften until only presence remains. Deep within the cortex, slow waves roll like moonlit tides. These waves wash through the brain, resetting patterns worn down by stress, restoring balance to circuits stretched by a long day. Each wave carries ions, charged particles that shimmer with microscopic bursts of energy. These bursts are like tiny sparks of light firing in synchronized patterns. Millions of them, billions of them, a galaxy of inner stars. And yet, they feel impossibly gentle, as if the entire brain is breathing light in and out. You may feel this radiance as calm, expanding outward from your mind into your whole being, as softness in your jaw, as warmth in your chest, as a loosening of the internal world. Some ancient traditions called this inner glow the mind's original nature. Modern neuroscience calls it coherence. You can simply call it peace, because tonight, this quiet radiance is not something you must find. It is something you are returning to, your natural baseline, your inner sky, the soft light that was always here beneath the noise. As this light fills you, neural clarity begins not through thinking, but through remembering. Remembering the quiet mind beneath thought, the calm self beneath effort, the gentle truth that you are already enough, already glowing, already whole. All day long, thoughts have been weaving themselves into dense patterns, loops, knots, tangles of worry, imagination, memory, and expectation. Overthinking isn't a flaw. It's simply the mind trying too hard to protect you. But now, in this calm darkness, those knots begin to loosen. One by one, they unravel in the quiet warmth of your breath. The first shift happens in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning and analyzing. As you relax, its activity gently dims, not shutting down, but softening, like a bright lamp being turned low. The circuits of focus and concern release their grip. What felt urgent becomes distant. What felt heavy becomes lighter, like a feather falling through warm air. At the same time, the amygdala, the small, almond-shaped center of emotional reactivity, begins to settle. Its signals slow, the alarms fade. The sense of must think this through dissolves into a wide, soft quiet. You may feel this as a gentle cooling sensation in the chest or forehead, or as a sigh rising without effort. This is your nervous system shifting from vigilance to peace. Overthinking cannot survive in this state. It requires tension, rapid breath, and tight muscles. But your breath is slow now. Your muscles are soft. Your awareness drifts like a small boat rocking on a still lake. Neurons that spent the day firing rapidly begin to pause. Synapses release excess neurotransmitters. Electrical chatter dims into slow, rhythmic pulses. Overthinking unravels, not because you forced it to stop, but because your brain is returning to its natural cadence. Theta waves, connected to intuition and creativity, roll gently across your mind like soft tides. They carry memories, impressions, and emotions into a quieter place where they no longer demand answers, no longer insist on looping. You might notice that thoughts become less sticky. They pass through like drifting clouds. They appear without weight, without urgency, dissolving before they can tangle into knots again. In this state, clarity emerges not through effort, but through openness. You see more by thinking less. You understand more by relaxing more. Tonight, the soft unraveling continues with each slow breath you take. Thought loses its sharp edges, its repetitive tightness, its grip, and in its place rises a vast, gentle space, an inner sky where nothing is forced, everything flows, and the mind finally remembers how to rest. There is a moment in the night when the brain resets itself so deeply, so completely, it's as if an invisible switch has been flipped. You may not feel the exact instant it happens, but you sense its effects. Spaciousness, calm, a smoothness inside thought you haven't felt since childhood. This reset is biological, not mystical, yet it feels like magic. As your brain settles deeper into the stable rhythm of delta waves, networks that spent the day overworking begin to reorganize. Neural circuits in the frontal lobes, parietal regions, and the emotional centers temporarily detach and reconnect in new patterns. Think of it like a snow globe after it's been shaken all day. Now, the particles drift downward, falling into their natural places. Cognitive clarity is born from this settling. The glymphatic system intensifies its flow, washing metabolic debris from the folds of the cortex. Meanwhile, glial cells, often called the caretakers of the brain, repair microtears, rebalance neurotransmitters, and prune unnecessary connections. What remains is a mind that is lighter, cleaner, more efficient. The chatter that clouded your thoughts earlier becomes faint. The emotional residue that colored your perception begins to dissolve. Even your sense of self grows softer, less burdened by the noise of the day. This reset deepens as the thalamus gates off external sensory input. Sound becomes distant. The boundaries of the body blur. Internal awareness expands. In this deepening quiet, the brain redistributes energy from problem-solving regions into restorative networks. Areas responsible for clarity, insight, and emotional regulation begin to glow with renewed coherence. It's not thinking, it's refining. Not analyzing, it's restoring. Not remembering, it's rewriting its own structure. You may sense this reset as a floating feeling, as if the edges of your mind are dissolving, or as a warmth behind the eyes, a calm fullness in the chest, a gentle hum of clarity growing beneath silence. This is the mind preparing itself for tomorrow, not with force, but with alignment. In this deep reconciliation, thought becomes clear, not because you tried to clear it, but because the brain returned to its natural rhythm. Tonight, your mind is resetting itself into its quiet brilliance. Each breath carries you deeper into clarity. Each slow exhale clears more space inside you. And by morning, the thoughts you carry will feel lighter, smoother, illuminated from within by the calm you are cultivating right now. As you drift deeper into the soft gravity of rest, something inside you begins to fade, not your awareness, but the scattered noise that once filled it. The inner noise of unfinished thoughts, lingering worries, and tiny echoes of the day melts into a silence so gentle it feels like warm night air brushing against your mind. The brain is designed for silence. It thrives in it. And right now, it is returning to that original state, slowly, delicately, like ink diffusing into water. The first shift happens in the sensory cortices, regions that were receiving constant input through sight, sound, and movement begin to dim. With your eyes closed and your breath slowing, the external world loosens its hold. Neurons that were firing rapidly to interpret the day's chaos start to rest. Electrical bursts soften into rhythmic pulses. Thought no longer rushes. It drifts. A gentle hum remains. But even that hum grows quieter with every slow breath. The mind begins to glow with stillness. This is the moment neuroscientists call quiet wakefulness, the threshold where consciousness remains present, but its contents dissolve into softness. You are awake, but not thinking, aware, but not analyzing, present, but not busy. The emotional brain follows. The amygdala, your guardian, your alarm bell, lowers its voice. In its place rises a soft warmth from the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the region associated with safety, forgiveness, and inner quiet. You may feel this shift as a warm spreading sensation in the chest, or as a softness behind the eyes. It is your nervous system telling you, you can stop now. You can rest. As the inner noise dissolves, the brain begins to reveal its underlying rhythm. Slow, synchronized, almost tidal. It feels like floating on gentle waves. You are no longer reacting to life. You are simply being. This is not emptiness. It is clarity, the mind in its purest form, a space where healing happens effortlessly. Tonight, as inner noise dissolves into pure, velvety silence, your mind slips into the sanctuary it has been craving. The sanctuary where thought becomes light, emotion becomes warmth, and silence becomes the softest, deepest medicine you have ever known. There is a passage inside the night, a quiet, luminous corridor, where consciousness slowly dissolves into dreaming. You are entering that passage now. It feels like drifting through a thin veil. On one side is thought, on the other side, imagination. And as you breathe, the veil grows thinner. The transition begins in the thalamus, the brain's gateway. Throughout the day, it acted like a vigilant guard, filtering every sound, every light, every sensation. But now, its gates begin to close, shutting out the external world. Sensory input dims. The world grows distant, muffled, soft. In that silence, the cortex begins to dream its own reality. Memories lift from their sleeping places. Colors blend. Fragments of old emotions float upward like tiny lanterns. The visual cortex stirs. The auditory cortex hums. Imagination awakens. You may feel a drifting sensation, as though gravity has softened. That is your brain releasing control of the body, allowing the motor cortex to quiet, while the dreaming mind begins its ascent. Cognitive regions that once shaped your identity step back. Logic dims. Time loosens. A new form of clarity rises. Not the clarity of logic, but the clarity of the soul. A clarity where symbols speak, where emotions take shape, where memories rewrite themselves as gentle stories. The amygdala, usually alert, now paints emotions in soft watercolor instead of sharp lines. A thought becomes an image. A feeling becomes a landscape. A memory becomes a gentle dream sequence. This is the threshold of REM, the place where the mind rehearses, heals, and releases what it no longer needs. In this state, the brain weaves together the fragments of your day, stitching meaning into the seams of experience. It loosens unnecessary knots. It strengthens emotional resilience. It rearranges neural pathways in ways that will guide you tomorrow, without you ever knowing how. As consciousness softens, you are not disappearing. You are expanding into a softer world. One where the mind speaks in symbols, where healing happens in silence, where you drift without effort, guided by the ancient rhythm of sleep. Tonight, you stand at that shimmering threshold. With each breath, consciousness melts a little more. With each exhale, the dream world draws closer, gentle, luminous, waiting to hold you in its quiet embrace. As you settle even deeper into the softness of the night, your mind begins drifting across the boundary where imagination becomes reality. This is the earliest layer of dreaming, delicate and fragile, like the first brush strokes on a blank canvas. You are not fully asleep, yet not fully awake. You are floating in the in-between, the twilight of consciousness. Here, the brain begins to open its inner archive. Images rise softly from memory. Faces, textures, colors, distant landscapes. But they emerge without context, without story. The hippocampus releases fragments like fireflies wandering through the dark. Meanwhile, the visual cortex awakens in gentle pulses, painting faint shapes and patterns across the inner field of your awareness. Hypnagogic imagery forms. Those drifting visions that flicker before sleep takes over completely. A doorway, a forest, a cup of light, a gentle wave. These are not dreams yet. They are dream seeds, pure potential. They glow briefly, then dissolve, making room for new ones to rise. Your brain waves shift into deeper theta rhythms, the frequency of creativity, intuition, and soft emotional clarity. In this state, your mind no longer insists on logic. It allows itself to wander, to merge, to explore. Emotions grow soft and round. Sensations drift like slow currents. The body becomes distant. Thought becomes atmosphere. The boundaries of the self grow thinner, more porous. You may feel as if you are floating forward, even though your body is perfectly still, or as if you are watching the night from a few inches outside your own head. This is normal. This is the mind loosening its tether to waking consciousness. The parietal lobes, responsible for mapping your physical position, dim their activity, creating a sensation of drifting weightlessly through inner space. Meanwhile, the limbic system begins warming, preparing to color the coming dreams with emotion. Not sharp, not urgent, but soft, like amber light. In this early dream light, nothing demands your attention. Everything flows. Everything feels possible. Everything feels safe. Tonight, as the first light of dreams flickers softly inside your mind, you drift toward a deeper world where healing and imagination intertwine, wrapped in the quietest rhythms of sleep. As you sink further into the night's gentle depths, something subtle begins to shift at the core of your awareness. The sense of I, the waking identity that carries your name, your responsibilities, your memories, begins to soften. It does not disappear. It simply dissolves into a more fluid form, your dreaming self. This transition is ancient. Every creature that sleeps undergoes it. And yet, for humans, it is profound. The brain begins releasing the tight structure of identity held by the default mode network. Regions responsible for self-reflection dim. Rumination quiets. The narrative of who you are loosens its threads. In its place arises a deeper version of you, one not bound by roles or expectation. A self made of emotion, intuition, sensation, and imagery. This dreaming self is not limited by the boundaries of waking life. It can move through memory as if through water. It can shift perspective effortlessly. It can merge with landscapes, symbols, and characters without confusion. The brain supports this soft dissolution. The parietal cortex, which anchors your body in space, reduces activity. The prefrontal cortex, which maintains rationality, steps into near silence. With these circuits resting, the sense of me becomes lighter, more expansive. You may feel this as drifting into a wider inner space, or as floating gently out of your body, or as a warm, calm emptiness in which awareness still exists, but identity rests. Emotion adds softness to this transition. The amygdala glows in muted, warm tones, coloring your inner world with emotion that is gentle rather than overwhelming. Meanwhile, the hippocampus loosens its structure, allowing memories to blend and transform into the raw material for dreams. It is here, at this exact moment, where you begin to transition from the thinking mind to the dreaming mind. A shift from structure to flow, from self to presence, from identity to essence. Tonight, as the edges of you soften, you are not vanishing. You are expanding. You are becoming fluid enough to enter the dreaming world, where healing happens through symbols, where clarity is born from softness, and where the deepest layers of your mind begin to glow with quiet transformation. As you drift deeper into the night's warm quiet, two great forces within the mind begin to move toward each other: memory and imagination. All day long, they stayed separate. Memory held the past. Imagination shaped possibilities. But now, under the soft hypnosis of sleep, they merge slowly, beautifully, forming the foundation of your dreamscape. The hippocampus begins this merging with gentle pulses. It releases fragments of memory, not whole scenes, not complete stories, just pieces. A texture of sunlight, a voice you haven't heard in years, the smell of old rain. These fragments float upward, unanchored by context. Meanwhile, the visual cortex lights up in rhythmic waves, painting shapes and colors in the darkness. Lines bend and dissolve. Objects reshape themselves. Spaces expand and contract. This is imagination stirring, preparing its canvas. The limbic system warms next, adding emotional tone, not fear or urgency, but a soft glow, like warm light filtering through amber glass. Emotion becomes the paint that colors the shapes of your dreams. It softens edges. It thickens shadows. It adds warmth to the emptiness. As memory and imagination move closer, something magical happens. They begin to fuse. A hallway you once walked merges with a forest you've never seen. A childhood friend appears beneath a sky made of colors that do not exist. A familiar melody drifts through a landscape that feels half home, half universe. None of it needs to make sense. Dreams obey emotion, not logic. Symbol, not timeline. Meaning, not accuracy. Your brainwaves shift into deep theta and early REM frequencies, fast, intricate patterns that weave thoughts into imagery. The prefrontal cortex remains dim, removing the need for reason. Without that filter, memory becomes flexible, imagination becomes powerful, and dreams become the language your mind uses to heal. In this merging, tensions from the day loosen. Emotional residue floats into symbolic form, becoming scenes your brain can process safely. Questions dissolve into images. Emotions dissolve into landscapes. Worries dissolve into motion. Nothing is forced. Nothing is rushed. Everything is allowed. Tonight, memory and imagination are not fighting. They are dancing, slowly, delicately, shaping the soft world you are about to enter. A world where healing speaks in symbols, where clarity rises without effort, and where your mind finds its gentlest truth in the language of dreams. There is a moment, quiet but powerful, where the thinking mind finally surrenders control to the dreaming brain. You are approaching that moment now. Thought grows faint. Logic loosens. The inner narrator grows silent, as if stepping away from the microphone and letting another part of you take the stage. This surrender is not a loss. It is a release, a relief. The brain's executive networks, the regions responsible for planning, judgment, and self-monitoring, dim into softness. Their electrical activity shifts from sharp pulses to gentle ripples. It is like watching a busy city slowly shut down for the night. Lights fade. Noise quiets. Streets empty. And in that quiet, something deeper awakens. The dreaming brain rises beneath consciousness like a glowing tide. The pons in the brainstem begin sending rapid signals upward, activating vast regions of the cortex. These signals are the spark of REM sleep, the stage where the mind becomes luminous, creative, boundless. The visual cortex brightens, even in complete darkness. The temporal lobes stir with echoes of memory. The emotional centers glow with warmth. But the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational control, remains still. This balance creates the dream state, vivid, emotional, immersive, unrestricted by waking logic. You may sense this transition as a deepening pressure behind the eyes, or as a soft, swirling feeling inside your head. It feels like falling, not down, but inward, falling into yourself, falling into the quietest and most expansive part of your mind. Identity loosens further. Boundaries blur. Awareness becomes fluid, wide, untethered. The body is safely paralyzed by design, held still by neural circuits that protect your dreams from becoming physical motion. But the mind is free, freer than it ever is while awake. In this surrender, healing happens. Problems reorganize into symbolic form. Emotions release their weight. Neural pathways rehearse and strengthen patterns you will need in waking life. Trauma softens, clarity grows, creativity blooms, all without force, all without conscious effort. The thinking mind surrenders because it must rest. The dreaming brain rises because it must heal. Tonight, you are sinking gently into that handoff. One layer of mind drifting into silence, another rising like a soft inner dawn, ready to carry you into the luminous world of dreams. You are now drifting toward one of the most extraordinary states the human mind can enter, the luminous theater of REM sleep. Here, consciousness does not disappear, it transforms. It becomes vivid, fluid, and expansive, glowing from within like a lantern lit beneath deep water. The transition begins as the pons releases rapid signals upward through the sleeping brain. These signals ignite the visual cortex so intensely that in this darkness, it becomes one of the brightest regions in your mind. Imagery blooms instantly, colors more saturated than waking life, movement smoother, perspectives impossible. Your brain is painting with pure electricity. At the same time, the limbic system amplifies, enriching each dream with emotion. Not the sharp emotions of daytime stress, but deep symbolic ones that shape scenes like gentle tides, sculpting sand. Joy becomes light, sadness becomes rain, curiosity becomes motion, longing becomes landscapes. Every emotion becomes architecture. The prefrontal cortex remains soft and dim, allowing the mind to move without judgment, without boundaries, without the need to make sense. This is why dreams feel real while they unfold. They are experienced directly, without analysis. Meanwhile, the brainstem holds the body in protective stillness. A graceful paralysis settles over your muscles, ensuring you can explore your dream world safely without acting it out in the physical world. In this state, your sense of self transforms. The dreaming you is not limited by gravity, time, or identity. You can move through walls. You can become someone else. You can float, fly, dissolve, expand. You can step into moments your waking mind never dared imagine. Neural pathways fire in intricate patterns, weaving memories, emotions, and imagination into symbolic stories that hold a deeper truth than waking logic can express. This is healing. This is integration. This is the subconscious speaking in its own luminous language. The hippocampus reorganizes memories. The amygdala safely replays emotions. The cortex stitches insights into the fabric of your inner world. All while you drift deeper into the glowing atmosphere of your own dream universe. Tonight, the dream world awakens inside you, vast, vivid, and luminous, ready to carry your mind into places where healing moves like light and meaning unfold softly with every breath. As REM deepens, you enter a realm where landscapes are shaped not by the physical world, but by the symbolic language of your mind. Here, your brain constructs entire worlds from memory fragments, emotional tones, sensations, and imagination. You are not merely watching these landscapes. You are inside them, moving through them, becoming part of them. The dreaming brain builds environments using the same neural circuits it uses to perceive reality. The parietal lobes create space. The occipital cortex paints scenery. The temporal lobes fill the world with sound and texture. But because the prefrontal cortex is resting, these landscapes are not bound by physics or logic. You might walk through a familiar hallway that opens into a vast ocean. You might step into a childhood room floating in the sky. You might move through a forest that breathes with light. In these inner landscapes, the rules are written by emotion, not by time. Each scene represents something deeper than itself. Water may symbolize release. Falling may symbolize surrender. Climbing may symbolize growth. Rooms may represent memories. Doors may represent choices. The dreaming mind understands these symbols instinctively, using them to process emotional weight that waking thought cannot untangle. As you float through these landscapes, neural circuits rehearse real-world skills. Motor regions simulate movement. Emotional centers recode fear into safety. Memory centers strengthen patterns you will use tomorrow. You may encounter people, some familiar, some unknown. They are not literal. They are reflections of your emotional world, voices of unresolved tension, memories seeking integration, or gentle messengers guiding you toward clarity. You may shift perspective seamlessly, from first person to third person, from self to observer, from individual to atmosphere. This is the dreaming mind exploring itself from every angle. You float, you glide, you drift through scenes woven from your deepest layers, guided by currents you cannot see but can feel. Soft, warm, ancient. Synapses fire in rhythmic bursts, shaping and reshaping the dream world as you move through it. Colors grow brighter. Motion becomes fluid. Meaning ripples beneath every image, every shift, every sound. Tonight, as you journey through these symbolic inner landscapes, your mind is not escaping reality. It is healing it. It is reorganizing your emotional world, recasting your memories in gentle forms, and preparing you to wake with a clarity that was impossible before sleep carried you into the glowing architecture of your dreams. Deep within the REM state, your mind begins one of its most important and delicate tasks: emotional reconciliation. This is not something you consciously control. It is something your brain chooses to do for you, gently, patiently, wisely, while you drift through soft inner darkness. Emotions you carried throughout the day, or even from years long past, rise into the dream world not to overwhelm you, but to be healed. The amygdala, normally sharp and reactive while awake, becomes softened by the chemistry of sleep. Its alarms lower, its edges warm. Instead of triggering fight or flight, it now paints feelings into dream scenes where they can be processed safely. The emotional brain speaks in symbols, not sentences. So grief might become a soft rain falling over an empty field. Anxiety might appear as a room that slowly fills with light until nothing remains but calm. A memory of conflict may transform into a gentle conversation that never occurred in waking life, but heals you nonetheless. The hippocampus supports this transformation. It retrieves emotional memories, loosens them from their rigid waking structure, and allows the dreaming brain to reshape their meaning. This is why dreams often blend truth and imagination. The brain is not replaying events. It is rewriting the emotional imprint they left behind. Neurotransmitters shift into a unique REM pattern: high acetylcholine, low norepinephrine. This cocktail allows emotional circuitry to ignite without triggering stress. You relive feelings safely in a world designed to cushion every impact. In this state, the prefrontal cortex, the part that judges, criticizes, and interprets, stays quiet. No self-blame, no analysis, no internal commentary. Just emotion drifting into form, rising into dreamlight, and dissolving into clarity. The brain rehearses alternate outcomes. It imagines new endings to old pain. It lets you feel triumph where you once felt fear. It lets you feel peace where you once felt confusion. Sometimes this appears as surreal imagery: flying, falling, glowing oceans, shifting rooms. But the meaning beneath these images is steady. The mind is reorganizing your emotional landscape, remapping fear into understanding, remapping sadness into softness, remapping anger into release, and all the while, neural pathways strengthen. Old traumatic connections weaken. New, healthier circuits grow. You may not remember the dream when you wake, but your brain will remember the healing. It will keep the rewired pathways. It will keep the softened emotional tone. It will keep the clarity born from the night's gentle work. Tonight, as your dreaming brain reconciles emotion with tenderness, you are being healed in ways waking consciousness could never accomplish alone. You are drifting, feeling, releasing, growing. and becoming emotionally lighter with every pulse of sleeping light inside your mind. As you sink deeper into REM's rhythmic glow, your brain begins another profound process, the reweaving of the self. Not the waking self, made of tasks, memories, and expectations, but the deeper self, your inner architecture, your emotional blueprint, your quiet identity beneath all noise. During the day, your sense of self becomes fragmented. Different roles pull you in different directions. Stress scatters your attention. Emotion pulls threads loose. But at night, the dreaming brain gathers these scattered pieces and begins sewing them back together. This integration begins in the default mode network, the region associated with self-reflection, identity, and autobiographical memory. During REM, it becomes active in a unique pattern, combining elements of your life story with the fluidity of dream imagery. Memories are not replayed, they are reorganized. Identity is not reinforced, it is softened and renewed. The brain takes the emotional insights created in earlier stages of sleep and begins weaving them into the narrative structure of who you are. A moment of forgiveness in a dream becomes a lighter emotional baseline for tomorrow. A symbol of strength becomes a subtle adjustment to self-worth. A dream of release becomes the mind giving itself permission to let go of something heavy. Meanwhile, neural networks that rarely communicate during the day begin forming bridges. Emotional regions connect with cognitive ones. Memory regions connect with sensory ones. The dreaming self becomes a vast inner meeting place where all parts of you can speak freely. You may sense this integration as a warm coherence in the chest, or as a feeling of expansion around the mind, or as a drifting calm that holds your entire being. Identity becomes fluid, flexible, open. The strict boundaries of waking life dissolve, allowing you to explore different versions of yourself without fear. The brainstem keeps the body still. The cortex glows with internal light. Synapses fire in long sweeping arcs, creating continuity where fragmentation once was. This is the mind weaving. A new emotional balance from old experiences, a new sense of self from old memories, a new mental clarity from softened thoughts. Healing does not always appear as revelation. Often, it is this quiet reweaving, thread by thread, connection by connection, that restores you. You wake up not knowing why you feel lighter, clearer, stronger, but the reason lies here. In this deep REM world where identity becomes a tapestry and the dreaming brain becomes its silent, patient artisan. Tonight, as your mind reweaves the self with gentle precision, you are becoming whole in ways too subtle to notice, but too powerful to deny. As the night deepens, your brain enters an extraordinary stage of renewal. One that unfolds quietly beneath consciousness, yet reshapes your inner world in powerful ways. This is deep dream processing, the mind's nocturnal workshop where experiences, emotions, and memories are refined, polished, and transformed into clarity. During REM sleep, your cortex becomes brightly active, almost as active as when you are awake. But this activity has a different purpose. Instead of responding to the outside world, it turns inward, reviewing the emotional residues of the day, examining unresolved tensions, and subtly rewriting the patterns that hold you together. Neural circuits that were strained earlier are given new life. Those damaged by stress are softened and reorganized. Synaptic connections that felt overloaded begin to rebalance, releasing unnecessary weight while strengthening what truly matters. It is like watching a garden prune itself in the dark, removing old branches so new growth can flourish. The hippocampus plays a central role in this renewal. It selects memories worth keeping and escorts them into long-term storage. But it does not copy them faithfully. It refines them, stripping away noise and preserving only what carries emotional or practical significance. The rest dissolves into the darkness. Meanwhile, the amygdala participates with an unusual softness. It replays emotions without fear, allowing you to feel them quietly and safely within the dream environment. Even difficult emotions lose their sharpness, drifting through symbolic scenes that give them new meaning. Your brainstem maintains the boundary between the physical world and your dream world, keeping your muscles still so your mind can wander freely. This stillness is part of the renewal. Your body must be quiet for your brain to reorganize itself so deeply. Across the cortex, neural oscillations synchronize. They create a rhythm, a gentle humming, that stabilizes thought networks. This synchronization fosters resilience, creativity, emotional regulation, and mental clarity. You may sense this renewal without seeing the dreams themselves. A feeling of spaciousness, a warmth behind the eyes, a quiet sense of ease spreading through your mind. These sensations are markers of the silent reconstruction happening deep inside you. Tonight, your brain is renewing itself, not through effort, but through softness. Not through thinking, but through dreaming. Not through control, but through surrender to the gentle intelligence that lives beneath your wakened mind. When morning comes, you will carry the quiet strength born from this invisible work, a mind cleaner, clearer, and more whole than the one that fell asleep. As the final cycles of sleep unfold, you begin drifting upward through the layers of your dreaming mind. The brain senses dawn long before your eyes open. Light does not need to touch your skin. Your internal clock feels its approach, shifting your hormones, easing your breath, preparing you for the soft rebirth of thought. This rising is gentle. You are not waking yet. You are floating through the quiet transition between dreaming and consciousness, where thought is born anew. Cortisol levels rise just slightly, not enough to create stress, but enough to begin activating the frontal regions of the brain. Synapses brighten, networks reconnect, pathways that rested all night stretch like waking limbs. The prefrontal cortex slowly reclaims its place, not with urgency, but with clarity. It begins to organize the insights your dreams created, weaving them into your waking identity. Emotional weight feels lighter now, as if dreams have washed your mind in clear water. The amygdala stabilizes. The hippocampus releases freshly integrated memories into consciousness. Your sense of self reforms, gently, like dawn forming on the horizon. In this transition, thought returns in its purest state, not tangled, not pressured, not rushing. It rises like slow sunlight filling a quiet room. Awareness expands. Sensation grows warmer. Your breathing deepens. Your consciousness begins to glow with the first light of morning clarity, even if the world outside remains dark. The dreaming mind steps back, but it does not vanish. It leaves behind its gifts: calm emotional tone, reorganized memory, restored neural balance, renewed clarity, softened edges of self-thought. Once heavy, now feels feather light. Problems that seemed large now feel manageable. Questions that weighed on you now feel distant, softened by the quiet wisdom of sleep. As you rise through this gentle passage, your mind is being reborn. Prepared not just to wake, but to wake clearer, kinder, and more whole. You are emerging from a night of healing, carrying the luminous peace of your inner universe with you. Tonight's journey is complete. Morning awaits, patient and bright, ready to receive the new clarity you have become. Hello there, and thank you for journeying through this soft, healing night. As your breath settles into its gentlest rhythm, let the last traces of thought dissolve into the quiet space around you. You've moved through layers of calm, through neural light, through drifting landscapes of dreams and clarity. Now, there is nothing left for you to do, nothing to hold, nothing to solve. Just rest. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the surface beneath you. Feel your mind softening like warm dusk, and let the night wrap around you like a safe, quiet blanket. You are safe now. You are held. You are allowed to rest fully. Let your breath flow in slow waves. Let your awareness drift like a feather in warm air. Let your mind float freely toward the soft darkness of sleep. There is no ending here, only a gentle fading. So now, you are safe now. Drift away, drift away, drift away.